September 3rd, 2009, Migori County, sorry. This is where a lot of things start happening. Life starts transitioning from one single place to another. I mean, we realize a number of things, a number of changes, a number of things start changing in life that we didn't really know that we could have in life. This time we were still young, and this is where my dad was living, mom was living. This is the place that we were living, and this was back in my home, a small village in Surrey town and in Migori County. And life was nice. Life was nice back then, and we were just, we used to have, when you're young, you just have a lot of privileges in life that, if you become, older, then you don't realize what privileges anymore. So I want to give you guys a little bit of some story time of how I've regretted in my life, like my past, just how I regret, living the past, living right now.
I'm on the road to riches, driving fire. Why these niggas want pop my tires? Blue wings got fire. My name on flyers.
My home is way back in Saudi. Departing home is, my home is way back in Saudi. Departing home was on 3rd September 2009. This was a critical time that we had in life. I know my grandma had passed away, and so things started changing in life, and we had to really make some changes in life. So whatever we did was not to move out of our comfort zones and to transit from my original home to another home that we have way back in Saudi. Way back in Saudi. If you don't know Saudi is a small town in Migori County that's bordered by lakes, and it's having cool, nice fish, bordered by the lakes, and just freshwater like Lake Victoria. And that's where most of the Kenyan fish, omena, and all kind of fish come from. So we moved home when we were still young. We didn't know anything about home, we didn't have that culture, we didn't have that time to socialize with people, to know people, to know what, like the way, if you can't be home, then, you must know that the way you're related with people, like the relationship with people, you should be knowing about, just your culture. I think you know what I'm talking about. You should just familiarizing yourself with people around your community, knowing them, how are you related with this person, how are you related with this person, so that you can just be familiar with, everything else. So for us, for me, myself, I didn't have that opportunity to interact with the people, to know how our relationships are with our people or with our community. So I lived home when I was that much younger, and getting that time with my parents was not that much. I didn't get that much time. So the only time that I got was maybe from learning from my dad and mom when they were talking about stories of home, how relationships are, talking about people who how we brought ourselves in the neighborhood. And that's the only time that I could find to realize or to know a little bit of some few people, because making our transition from home way back in 2009, it was just too much early. I was still very, very, very young. I was in a primary school, or what you can call junior school. So I didn't have that mind, or I didn't have that big mind to open up my brains and to realize that this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. No, I didn't really have that. Transiting from home to urban country or urban center or urban, name it all. It just gave me another priority or opportunity rather to interact and mingle around. I got to encounter or to have that urban life rather than having that village life that I ought to be having in me. So in most of my life, in most of my associations, I happen to live with people who had lived or who live in urban centers or urban centers. Yes. So you realize that I don't know much of the village, but I know much of the urban. For our culture, it is said that it is good when you know your real rural life rather than knowing the urban life, because once you are done with the urban, you'll eventually go back to village, especially when you want to build a house, have some kind of farms. So for me, I have lived totally, majorly, or most of my life in urban area, and I really, for some reason, I regret having that kind of life, because I really feel like when I go back home, I feel like I'm a very new person in the community that people don't know about, that people wonder, that people, if you just walk in the village, everybody kind of be trying to ask you, who are you, where are you from? Somebody tried to ask me, remember about your name, where do you come from, whose son are you? I mean, those questions, like, they are just so many and they're disgusting. They're disgusting, especially when you moved out of the village when you are younger and you go back when you are, older or grown, then you'll be my witness. So for some reason, I really feel like I regret having that, moving back. I'm moving much early in the village than I was supposed to be. My parents, however, have been always staying back in the village since then, but then they're just those people who transit, like they transit like once in a while. They come and see us, they go back to the village. But the most entire life, they mainly live back in the village. But for them, there's no big deal they can do about it, because that's where they get, that's where they get their living, and that's where every source of income comes. So they have no options but to have everything back in the village. But for us, we have to stay back in the urban area. So that's a glimpse of the story. So here it comes. I get to school. I get to get in the secondary school, or high school rather. After finishing high school, high school as well is the urban area. So I'm still living that urban life, or that town life. Campus it's a campus in the urban, so campus be in Nairobi. So that's like the capital city of Kenya. So most of the time I've been living majorly in Nairobi. Like, just to cut the long story short, I've been living majorly in Nairobi for the past, now this is now the 5th year. I've been living in Nairobi since I came. Actually, since I came in, it was just way long ago. It has just been way much long. So I've just I just think that it is now my time. It is now time. I think that I should just be traveling back home, and I should just be traveling back home and maybe mingle around with people, just try to know my people, just try to know my culture, just to know my roots, know people. Just generally to know people, because it is very awkward when you are grown and you go back home where people, people of your age are, they are known in the village. For example, let's say, I want to vie for some seat in the village. I cannot right now because people don't know me. So I cannot do that because people must know me. So for some reason, I really regret having that kind of life, and it is not that much good, in as much as you may do something to have yourself or to gain something, but it is I just feel like it is reasonable when you a little bit, or at least go back to the village and visit, try to mingle with people, know people. It is just I feel like it is much nice. However much we've been living in such a way that we are not in full time with my parents and other siblings, I appreciate the fact that my parents have been these kind of people who are working so much hard to realize that we realize our dreams, goals we achieved. To realize that we live a happy life, we realize that we live a comfortable life, a smooth transition journey, and a life that doesn't have any harm. So for that reason, I really appreciate them so much, because they have been the pillar of everything for us till now, the age that we have reached right now. And I cannot just forget to congratulate them, because it takes so much hard work, competence, and patience, humbleness, and sacrificing to do that, man. It is not that much easy, especially if you're a family who is of a big number, then it takes time. It is just for the appreciation. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I really hope, I don't want to make this video so much long. I think you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, and if you agree with whatever I said, let me know in the comment section. This was kind of story time, and I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in today. And thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.